Hello and welcome to Caesar's Snack Sandwich. Today I have a very strange video for you. It's about Snowflake Exchange. Now the reason why I call it strange is because if you go through this website, right, and you come down here, you can see they have two security audits, which you can kind of read this one, and you can kind of not see this one at all. But then there's also this like KYC by 0x Guard. So they have this thing that says on the KYC, the Zero Guard GitHub here, they say that they've KYC'd the CEO, the CTO, and the co-founder and verified their identities. However, when you go to the socials, any of these down here, all of them, so the Twitter is, rug, the Telegram rug, Discord rug. The Gitbook is surprisingly still there. But when you read through the Gitbook, there is, it's very good at the start, and then it starts to get choppy and bad English as you get down in further down, right? And then the GitHub as well is rugged and completely gone. So I went onto Twitter and I asked, hey, does anybody know about this? And this guy said it was a rug pull, right? And then I asked, are you sure? And he's like, yeah, my friend got rugged $500,000 US. Now, I don't know this person. I don't know if this is true or not. I have no idea. I have nobody to contact. But I still decided to make a video because I was reading through this, and there are some ideas in here that are pretty clever. And I think that maybe there might be some devs out there that might look at this and look at this video and think about the ideas that were presented in this docs here, and then decide to maybe adopt them or iterate on them. So I think the ideas are worth sharing, okay? Now it's an exchange. It's a stable swap, okay, for swapping between stable coins. So I do have a flowchart for you. So we'll go through the flowchart and I'll highlight those key things that make this a little bit different. Now keep in mind, again, this is probably a rug. So don't go looking to buy the Snow token. Don't go looking to put your money into this. Don't even connect your wallet to this. It's likely a rug. However, just think about the ideas that were presented and why I would think maybe perhaps some people were rugged, because there are some pretty good ideas inside here. So let's go over to the flowchart. Okay, so here we are on the flowchart. We have dollar bill and we have boosted bill, and they both have some stable coins. So, dollar bill here has USDC because he's a little more conservative, and boosted bill is a little more degen, so he has his USDT tether, right? So the first thing that makes this thing special is they can deposit single-sided into here. So let's say they both deposit 100 of each inside here, and they're both worth $1, so $1 is so forth, right? Now, when you deposit, they do have a deposit fee, and that's just they claim this to be to stop bots from like front running things and stuff like that, because there is some opportunities here where you would want to deposit and withdraw and stuff like that. So there's a small deposit fee. Now this deposit fee ranges depending on some factors. So if you really want to know the range factor here, you'd have to go into the docs and read the chart that it says there. But anyhow, so they both deposit inside. Now the key thing about this is, with most, like if you were to deposit into Curve single-sided, when you withdraw, you get, 50-50. You would get 50 USDC and 50 USDT, right? Unless you specifically asked for 100, but then you would get hit with slippage, right? However, with this, he is owed 100 USDC. So that's basically what he's supposed to get, right? So his asset, or his share of this is not 50% of this pool. He's the owner of 100 USDC in this pool. And that's a kind of clever idea. Now, there are some obvious problems, like how can he get that out if it never gets rebalanced back to, never becomes more than 100 in here. Well, let's keep going, and then you'll kind of see some other ideas that were presented in that docs, okay? So along comes Grandma here, and she wants to trade, right? So she trades 10 USDC for 10 Tether, right? So now the pool has 110 USDC and 90 Tether, right? However, there's this slippage fee, right? So as she's increasing slippage, as she's causing this imbalance to happen, right? Because it wants to be balanced, of course, just like all pools, right? So like all of the stable swap pools. So as she's creating an imbalance, then, a portion of that will stay behind. Okay, so let's say in this case, 0.5 is stayed behind and she gets 9.5 because of that slippage. Now, of course, keep in mind that every little tick, every little cent is, exponentially causing more slippage. Okay. So anyways, so now the pool has 110 and 90.5, and that 0.5 is kind of just like left there and she's lost it, right? And it's kind of helping to maintain boosted bills, owed 100, right? To some extent, right? Now moving on. So now there's also a trading fee. They call it a haircut, right? So there's a trading fee of 0.04%, and that is left in the pool as well, right? Now this 0.04% that is left in the pool, it is based on the retention ratio. So if there's a retention ratio is set to 100, then it's all just left in the pool. And if the retention ratio is set to 0, then it's all given to the LPers. Now, I'm not sure, based on the docs, whether dollar bill has any claim on this because she got tether out. So maybe it's only boosted bill that gets some of this tether. Now, again, I don't know because I'm just reading a Git book and I'm not auditing all the code and so forth. So moving on. So now this guy comes along and he sees this imbalance, just like normal pools, right? So he could do this. He could, send in 10 ETH, right? Or sorry, 10 tether, right? And get it back to balance and get out 10 and plus. So I'm not sure how much extra he would get, but he's going to be like incentivized. Like, I guess in this case, if he put in 10, he would get exactly 10 out, which is a very good non-slippage trade, right? But let's say he put in 5, he may get 5.001 or something like that, okay? So the idea is that the pool incentivizes other people to come along and arb it because of the misbalance between the two debts, okay? Now this is just like a normal Stableswap pool, okay? Now moving on, let's forget about him for now. Let's say he hasn't done this, okay? And the pool's still sitting at 110 to 90, okay? Now, because of, his debt, he is owed 100 tokens, but there are 110 tokens, right? He's owed 100 tokens, right? But there's only 90 in here. So he gets a higher APY of Snow rewards, so the governance token and so forth of this protocol. So he gets a boosted reward. So his APY is higher than his APY. Now, this is a clever idea. Now, this is where it's new and interesting. So the APY is based on the debt of those two individuals, right? So what this can do is it'll incentivize over here boost or dollar bill to swap some of his tokens. So he would withdraw. Again, there's a withdrawal fee because of bot attacks or so forth, right? Some sort of whatever. Again, so this is some sort of safety protection. So he would withdraw some of his USDC, swap it for tether, and then deposit that tether in to get some of that higher APY, right? So this is kind of an interesting idea as well, right? So they incentivize the LPers to rebalance the pool and kind of create, like, it'll still have the same amount of dollar value in there, but it'll be more balanced towards the 1-to-1, right? Moving on. Now, what can you do with these Snow tokens? As usual, you can stake them, right? But the design of their VE is it's very different than what most VE token holders are doing. Because most times when you stake for VE, you get all of your and they decay as the time progresses, and then at the end of the decay, you can withdraw your tokens. What this seems like, based on what I read, is the opposite. So let's say you have one, you stake it, and it starts off at a tiny bit of VE, and then slowly, gradually goes, after 10 months, you get to the full amount of VE tokens that are VE locked, and then you can claim them, right? So when you claim them, it resets the timer back to 0. So you need to wait 10 months to get these VE tokens, right? Now, what the VE tokens do is they will boost your APY. Now, again, I don't know. There's no possible way to trade VE tokens. It literally says in the docs they're not tradable, they're not transferable, and then there's no talking about being able to actually get your Snow back out of these. So it's kind of like you're burning Snow tokens for boost on your Snow token emissions. Okay, so that's kind of interesting. It might need some work, but it's worth like highlighting and kind of showing that it's a new idea. Okay, now moving on. The last thing that it does talk about in the docs is that this pool is like it's a pool, like unilateral pool. It doesn't there's only one big pool. So the wizard might come along in the future and talk to the VE holders or the team and say, hey, listen, I want meme in here as well, and they will assess the validity of meme, whether it's a good enough stable coin or not, and then they will add it and allow him to add meme to this pool. So the idea of this is that you don't have USDC sitting in a whole bunch of different pools. It's only one big pool, and the USDC is always used. It doesn't require, like if there was two pools, let's say it would require 100 USDC, 100 Tether, 100 USDC, and 100 meme. And then, you would still only have like 200 in each pool, but you would have 200 USDC needed to do this. So the idea is that they can keep adding stablecoins to this pool, and I guess forever. Okay, so that's pretty much it for this video. I hope this has been interesting and informative and useful. Now, again, I will echo this one more time. This is likely a rug, so please don't put your money there. Do some, check out the socials. If the socials do wake up again later, that's maybe something you might want to look at. But the idea here is I just wanted to share these two specific ideas, especially this like higher APY for the misbalanced side and lower APY for the side that has all of his tokens that he can get out. I think this is pretty clever, and this is a tool that could probably be used by some developers, some team who's building a project now and wants to consider this idea. Okay, so that's pretty much it for now. So thank you so much for watching, and goodbye.